Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Make sure you like the video on your way in. Drop me some yellow hearts so I know you are in the building. What is going on, guys? Hey Monique. Hey Joshua. Hey Ellen. What's going on? Make sure you're liking. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. How y'all doing? What is going on, y'all? It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday afternoon, okay? And y'all, I was sitting here, I was on what was I doing? I was on Instagram. So y'all know that Derek Jackson is going doing an interview on Dear Future Wifey. It's a two-part series tomorrow and Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? So I'm like, oh, child, we gonna have to get into some things because you all know we all been waiting to see what Derrick Jackson got to say about all of this. So we definitely about to see what he got to say, and like hopefully he takes accountability. But I don't want to hear no excuses. Yeah, I can't stand that. Please don't blame her for why you did what you did, because y'all know these ninjas like to blame people for why they did what they did. Okay, so y'all see my little blush? I've been trying to put on my little blush. Cause y'all know I don't know how to do no contouring or anything. But I'm about to start practicing contouring because y'all, pregnancy is taking a toll on my skin and my body, and I feel like closer to the end. And if my nose start doing like this, I need to be able to slim it down just a little bit. So I'm trying to get my little makeup skills up. Get my little makeup skills up, okay? But anyway, how's everyone doing this Tuesday? We're gonna talk about Ready to Love. You like it? Thank you. Oh Lord, Derek is gonna set that woman off again. Child, she already be on the internet acting crazy, okay? Already be on the internet doing a lot. So we just gonna have to see how this do. It's a two-part interview. So I'm trying to see if we're gonna do like a watch along with some commentary, or if I'm gonna watch it, clip up the parts that I want to talk about, and then we talk about it together. Like I don't know what I really how I would really want to do it, but we definitely got some things to get into over the next 2 days. So I'm happy about that because I've been missing talking to y'all when I don't have nothing to talk about. And because I don't really know what shows I want to get into just yet, I ain't really get into it. So y'all go ahead, like the video, get the people up in here. He's going to slick talk his way around all that to make it seem like he took it, but didn't. Oh, we'll have to see. Yes, watch it and report back. I will definitely report back. Oh, thank you. Okay, so y'all, let me tell y'all. Um, so y'all, I watched Kira's interview on Crystal XO channel, and when I watched it, I'm not even going to lie. I don't remember half for anything this girl said in there, okay? I didn't feel moved by the interview. Now I know you guys watched the interview and a lot of people was like, I see her in a different light now. And I'm like, really? Because when I watched it, I didn't really come out of it thinking like, oh, I see her in a different light. Right. So I did go through it again a little bit to see where I left off. And I'm going to start it at like the 30-minute mark, and we're going to like let it play out a little bit and talk about some things into it, where she talks about the comments that she made that really had her in the hot seat with the people. Okay. Oh, thank y'all. Y'all making me feel better. Y'all making me feel better because I'm starting to really start to get a little bit of insecure a little bit with this pregnancy and the camera. Okay, so I feel like sometimes I have to do an extra lot. Don't mind me. It's just it's a thing. Okay, it's a thing. But let's go ahead. You said I don't. Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting into some of that interview. Go and get some commentary, and then we're just going to talk about all the topics that we talked about over the weekend, and then what we expect from the next episode, who we want to go home, and all the things of the things. Y'all know what I mean? Okay, so go ahead, like the video, like the video, like the video. You are more than welcome to subscribe if this is your first time here. If this is your first time catching the live, hey, what is going on? If this is your first time catching the live, what is happening? Okay, and don't forget, you can always support the channel by joining the membership. It's $1.99. Click the membership logo. You can buy some merch some merch at the merch store. And if you would like to hit the Cash App or Super Chat, you're more than welcome. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the things. So, let me share my screen. Okay.
A couple of statements that definitely had social media questioning. So I want to ask you for the context, right? You mentioned that you were probably the closest thing to white in the cat when they were saying when Tequila brought up the fact that Quentin wasn't attracted to anyone. That's why would you say that statement at that time?
I'm glad that you asked, because I mean, even in the shot there, it told you. I said not look wise.
All right, so I just want to cut in real quick, and I know we just got started, but Quentin didn't say he didn't like anyone in the cast. Quentin said, I don't like it. I don't know who I'm liking or feeling yet. As in to say, I haven't really, really worked around the room to really pick someone. And kind of like, you're not really on my radar like that because there's no one I like yet. So I already feel like she took the words wrong. But a lot of the women kind of a little bit this season was doing that. Same thing like when Sierra said, he said F your mother. When he didn't say F your mother, he said your mother was effed up. You know what I mean? Like the words are being like mixed up a little bit because he definitely said I'm not feeling anyone yet. So they already took that out of turn.
Personality wise. Mm-hmm. And when I say that is because when I open my mouth, I'm proper. I'm extra bubbly. It comes from like the cheerleader vibes. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't saying that like I think I'm white. It's just like I'm a product of my environment. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So it wasn't, when I say that is because when I open my mouth, I'm proper. I'm extra bubbly. It comes from like the cheerleader vibes. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't saying that like I think I'm white. It's just like I'm a product of my environment. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So if I grow up in a school where there's 85% white people, and then my whole life I'm told I act white, I think I was like looking.
Okay. So knowing that, okay, if Kira was young, let me just if Kira was young, I would accept that answer because it's like, okay, this is all I know, right? They tell me in school, oh, you act like a white girl. Oh, they tell me you talk proper, so this, that, and other. Like that's like the concept that kids usually get embedded in them. But as a grown woman who goes on a show to date black people, to date black men in a black environment, then you should know that just because you have a bubbly personality or you talk proper does not make you white. Like that's not a white thing. That's like, just you having good, proper English, knowing how to present yourself to the world, having a decent attitude. Like that's basically saying that the black girl is supposed to be aggressive or angry and mad and bitter, and the white girls are, bubbly and happy and talk proper. It's kind of like that's basically what you're projecting onto a group of people. When you are a grown woman and you've been in spaces with black people, white people, then you should know that that doesn't mean that you're the closest thing to white. You understand what I mean? So that means in her mind, she still has the perception that because she talks a certain way or because she acts a certain way, therefore she's the closest thing to white. And talking proper doesn't make you white. I need us to get that out of our head a little bit, like the talking proper and things like that. Like, that's not a white thing. Now, we do have things like acting black and acting white, okay? Like, our language is different, the way we talk, the head movements. Like, there's a lot of things that are culturally black and culturally white. That's understandable. But when you start talking about the way someone talks as if we can only talk like no, and we got to talk in Ebonics because that's all we know. It's kind of like, how do you see black people? That's what really started to bother me the most, because how are you, when you say that about yourself, now you're saying that everything that you are is closer to white, and then that says that everything that's opposite of that is closer to black. That was the issue that I have with her even explaining why she felt that way. If that makes sense to y'all? She was on the wrong day and show. I don't know. I just honestly feel like, as an adult, that's not the proper thing to say, or even the proper mindset, because it's just already saying where your mind goes when you think of a white person or a black person. Okay, when we think of white people, we think sometimes the white people run towards the accident, right? Black people, we run away from the accident. That's a black and white thing, that's like the joke. Okay, you don't think, oh, because you talk proper, you must be a white girl, you're closer to white because you talk this type of way, as if there's not educated, successful black people. That makes me feel a way. Okay, but we're gonna let her continue.
Looking back, I think I was really trying to beat people to the punch of like saying that I act white, I talk white, because I've heard it my whole life. So I think that's where it came from, but how it came out wasn't as tasteful as I would have liked it. And I'm big on taking ownership of that. I definitely think that I could have worded that better, or I could have just not said that at all. But if you think about it, everybody and their mama were thinking it.
Now, y'all, I'm sorry, because I'm not part of the cast, right? So I can't say that everybody and their mama was or was not thinking it. But I will tell y'all this. When I was watching the show, right? When I was watching the show, I never once thought, before she came out her mouth and said, I'm the closest thing to a white girl, I never thought Kira acts like a white girl. All the conversation that most of us had about her was, oh, I like her. She seems nice. She seems sweet. She seems energetic. She seems bubbly. Like, just a nice girly girl. That was the commentary that I was giving. A lot of you were agreeing with me. Now, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right, okay? When we first got to know Kira on the screen before she made this comment, did anyone think to themselves, oh, she act like a white girl? Definitely didn't think that. Hey, Quentin, girl. Definitely didn't think that until she said it. Right. I didn't think that. So when she said that y'all was thinking that, who was y'all? I mean, I'm not part of the cast, so maybe they was thinking that. And I honestly don't think they were thinking that, because as you become an adult, you don't sit there and dwell on whether someone is acting white or if someone is acting black. Like, that's not... People who have jobs and are in successful environments and things like that, there is a such thing as code switching. Y'all know we code switch. That's a thing, right? Where you change the voice and this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. But no one really was sitting there like, oh my God, Kira acts like a white girl. Not until she made that comment. And then even then we was like, girl, what? Because typically, when we're talking about men liking white women, okay, she specifically said that he likes white women, right? So if you say a man likes a white woman and then you come back and say, I'm the closest thing to white, what do you think he likes about this white woman? You think it's the personality, or you think it's the complexion? Because now I'm confused on what's the concept. Y'all get what I'm saying? I feel like that's a weird thing to say. Like, I would never in my life, I don't care if I've been called, you act like a white girl all my life, I will never sit there and compare myself to a white person. Look at my skin. Like, look at my skin. There's no way I can sit in a room and say I'm the closest thing to white and feel comfortable with it. There's not even an ounce of me who will ever be like, I'm the closest thing to white. Never. So I just feel like her headspace is like completely in a different space as it is, because it just seems far off for you to even say something like that. Because you know that when people are telling you that you act like a white girl, they are not saying that you are close to white. They saying your attitude or the way you coming off is like you're trying to fit in with white people, which is what people do in the environment that they grow up in. They, conform to what they're around. That's not her fault. But when you start to embrace it enough to be like, I act like this because I'm around the white people, that's when it becomes like an issue. Y'all get what I'm saying? That's why I'm just sitting here like still confused on like how everybody was like, that's right, Kira, I understand. I understand if you are a child and you're starting to learn yourself and grow and you things like that. But as a grown, established woman, that's not the right comment to make. Like, for instance, y'all, and I'm not even going to lie, being a darker skinned Black woman really makes you uncomfortable in white spaces. Okay. When I would go to like all my like area meetings and stuff like that with all the different store managers and stuff that we would go into, there wasn't a lot of Black people. It was like me, maybe like 3 or 4 other Black people in a room. Okay. Of course, you have like, some Spanish people, some Indian people, you have a mixture of people, but majority of the people were white. And you always have this thought in your mind where it's like, you stand out. And I feel like she put in her mind like she's not comfortable enough to stand in her Blackness. So in her mind, she tells herself she's closest to white because she acts like them. You get what I'm saying?
I just said it, but not in the best way.
Right. Well, I think you said it as a result of what people have said to you, right? And that's what people are not taking into consideration. But I want to clear up just from my perspective, because I've heard that and that irritates me. I don't like when people say that, right? If they say, well, I have a couple of girlfriends that have said that, and we've had a conversation. I don't like that. But I think that the reason we need to have these conversations.
Let me say this. I think, okay, I know what Crystal's going with this whole conversation, but when a person makes it all about their where they were raised and stuff like that, that's when it becomes the problem. When Kara sat down with Quentin, she said, "So you strike me as someone who liked white girls." If I'm not mistaken, that's how she said it. She didn't say, "Do you like white girls?" or something. Did she say, "Do you?" I think she said, "You strike me as someone." It seemed like, oh, you remind me of, you act like someone, or remind me, or seem like someone who like white girls, because when I was in school, and I was in school with Odell Beckham and them, they were liking the white girls, and you just seem like them, so and I can ask that question. I can ask that question because I have white friends. Who says that? That's like the Black version of that's the total opposite of what white people say. I got Black friends, so it don't matter. Girl, what? Like who comes out their mouth and say, so you can tell me if you like white girls because I got white friends. Like, I can ask this question because I have a white friend. It's like, wait, what? That's just like when you call someone a white person a racist, and they be like, I'm not a racist, I have Black friends. And she's like, I can ask this because I have white friends. Like, girl, no one ever comes out their mouth and say things like that. It's like she make that part of her identity, and that's kind of scary for a grown woman. And I feel like, at what age do you start to become who you are, or accept who you are and walk in that, versus you keep using your bringing up as an excuse as to why you are the way you are? Like, oh, well, people said that all my life, so I just go ahead and go with it. That's basically what she's saying. I go ahead and go with it. So it's every time I get around a group of Black people, I'm just going to assume that these Black people think I'm a white girl. When no, baby, none of us was thinking it. It's not one of those situations where it's like, you were thinking it, well, you said it. This is not one of those. That's not it. Kiki, I'm with you. I identify as wealthy because I have rich friends. I know that's right. Okay, add me to the list. Kira's face says a lot. I'm still not convinced that Quentin has not dated white women. Who cares about his dating choice? And it doesn't matter. See, the thing is, it does matter if Quentin only dates white women. Solid, because he's on the Black Dating Show. But if Quentin dated white women, Puerto Rican women, black women, or whatever women, then that's fine. But Kira's going through an identity crisis at a very late age. How old is she?
And I think that's the problem. That is the problem. The problem is there is no such, we are not a monolith as Black women. And we need to stop, challenging each other's Blackness and instead accept the fact that we're all different. So I think that's the problem. And I think that's why a lot of people responded that way. Because when you ask the question, when you said the statement like, well, I'm the closest thing to it, then it's almost like that's perpetuating the stereotype that when you are proper, you do seem more, closer to white. And that's not true. That's not true.
But I will say this, Crystal, in the Black community, yes, it is. If you talk proper, there is no such thing as actually acting white. That is like, I don't know how you can act a color. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't. Mm-hmm. But we have brainwashed. This is like a deep rooted.
All right, I'm gonna cut in because, like I already said, there is a such thing as acting Black. There is a such thing as acting white. But it has nothing to do with being proper. And I do understand that there is a stereotypic way where they say like, oh, white people talk proper, Black people talk like this, da 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 da. I understand that that's not the issue. The issue is that you are a 30-year-old woman and you taking that with you like that's set in stone. Just because someone says that does not mean I have to accept that. That's the issue. I'm not saying that if you are a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, a 15-year-old, 17-year-old, 18, even 21-year-old woman who was going through life, went through college in a predominantly white neighborhood, and everybody always say, you act like a white girl, you act like a white girl. Okay, cool. But you are now at the age of 30. That's the issue. So now you have taken this, what they call stereotypic version of Black and white women, and you have adapted to it. And then you walk around and say it as if it's a badge of honor, which is what Janelle was saying. Like, I don't know what kind of claim of fame you think that is, but it's not cute, and it's not. That's the issue. The issue isn't that you have heard it. The issue isn't that people say stuff about Black people all the time. But because I've heard, oh, there's the bitter Black woman, or there's all Black women are single mothers, does not mean that I have to accept that in my reality. What she did was accept what people told her in her reality and then get mad when it's thrown back at her because that's not the reality. If that makes sense, I'm hoping I'm making sense. You are 30. You want to have children. What are you going to teach your children? That you have to act this way because it's closer to white? And who set the standard that white is the way it's supposed to be? Let's be very clear. I've seen it all the time. Like when you go somewhere, you better act like you got some sense. Da, 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 da. If you at a table and everybody finds something funny and everybody start laughing, oh, you got to be the ghetto Black family. No, it's just something funny. You're enjoying your family. Who says that this is the standard of what fun should look like in a public place? You know what I'm saying? As long as ain't nobody getting hurt, as long as nobody, being disrespectful to nobody, now you got to be the ghetto people because you laughing out loud or something like that. Like, who set that standard? Who said that this way is the right way or there's no other way to do something? So I just feel like she needs to go ahead and take herself out. Like, you can't you're sitting there and you're holding on to this like it's a badge, and it's like, girl, no. You are 30 years old. So you should be able to know that that is not the reality, especially when you're in spaces around successful Black women. I know you've been in spaces around successful Black women who don't act like that. Oh, she must think that they act white too. Child, this is what I'm saying. She must think that, oh, those are good Black people right there. It's them over there. They the good Black people. Child, it's giving low key. I'm having an identity crisis. That's what I'm saying. Like, she knows she black. We never denied the fact that she knows she's black. But it's like she's black identifying as white. That's what I'm getting, okay? That's what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something that Kira can come on here and tell her perspective, and then everybody is going to have a better perspective. Like, I think that we have been not brainwashed, but we have been taught that there's only a certain type of black.
Well, that too. Yeah.
You know? And so I don't know. It's really unfortunate. And when I watched it, it did seem as if I was like trying to seem like I was happy about it. I'm not excited that people think I act white.
Okay.
I was just saying I'm the closest thing to white here. And then they laughed and I'm like, what? Y'all all think it. Like, if you look at it, it wasn't like I was laughing like, oh my gosh, I'm I wasn't.
Right. Well, I think if a person doesn't know that experience, it could come off to them that way, right? If you've never, when I watched it, I was like, I totally understand where she's coming from, but I also had an experience that was much like yours, coming from Oklahoma, very much like yours. But I also understand, and I think that, like I said, it's a teachable moment, because talking proper does not mean you're talking white. It doesn't. It just, everyone has a different vocal tone and all that. But so there were a few other statements that were made there. I like the comment that Ani said, a lot of Black people aren't used to different types of Black people. She shouldn't have said that she was close to white, though. But I think that that's just something that we should not do to each other, period, on either side. You also, I think someone said when you and Quentin were having the conversation about Black love, and he asked you, didn't you want that? And then you made the statement like, my cousins are Black, and people were like, okay, so is her family? Are there interracial, because there was another reality show where there was a African-American young lady, and she preferred to date white men because her mother had also dated white men. So I think people kind of had a question because of the statement that your cousins were Black. That suggested that maybe some other people in your family were not. Was that taken out of context?
First of all, I'm just gonna say this, Crystal, cut that out, Crystal. Now, wasn't nobody sitting there wondering if she had other family family members of different colors. Crystal tried. She tried to be, try to wing her in a little bit. Okay, she tried to wing her in a little bit, but which no one said that. No one was thinking, we just wonder if your cousins are Black. Do you have anybody else Black or white? What's your family tree look like? No one was thinking any of that at all. Okay, at all. But let's go ahead and listen to her answer.
Somewhat. So the original statement, when I was talking to Marie, when he was, because I don't think it was Quentin.
It could have been Marie.
Yeah, when I was talking to Marie and I said my cousins are Black and I love Black culture, the original statement was my parents are Black. I literally used almost the exact same thing that Quentin said. Like, I've seen Black love. Like, I was just like, my parents are Black, my brothers are Black, my cousins are Black. I love Black love. But what they did was they chopped it where I just said, my cousins are Black.
Okay, so Quentin didn't say my mother is Black, my father is Black, my cousins is Black, my sister is Black, my brothers is Black, everybody in my family is Black. What Quentin said, that his mother and father have been married for a long time and he's seen Black love and that's what he wants. That's two totally different things versus, oh, my mother is Black, my father is Black, I don't have to go inside of any room and announce to anybody that I am Black. I don't have to go inside of any room and announce it. I do not have to tell you that my mother is Black and my father is Black. Okay. Now, if my father was of a different, race, or my mother was of a different race, I might have to tell you that, because you're gonna be like, Chloe, ain't no way, girl, you's Black. You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting here like, no one has to explain their family dynamic as far as having Black and white parents. Now, when Quentin asked Janelle if her adopted parents were Black, that's an appropriate question, because she could have possibly been adopted by anyone. Not your white pastor son. Get out of here. But that's I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, I need you guys to really think of a time where you went and you were talking about black love. I've never said, oh, I want black love because my mother's black, my father's black, my sister's black, my brother's black. That's why I want black love. No. I just want black love because I want to marry a black man. Now, if she would have said, I want black love because I want to marry a black man, then that would have been cool. But for you to go into a whole different category of running down all your family members who just so happen to be black as if you're not black is kind of strange. It sounds crazy to me. And then for her to go and make it seem like he said all of that, he didn't say, I mean, from what we saw, I can't say he didn't say all that, but from what we saw, that's not basically what he said. He basically said that his mother and father had black love, and that's what he wanted.
I love black culture. Because it fit a good narrative. Like I'm like dingy or something. Like that. I don't know how, as much as I feel like people watch these shows, I don't understand how some people cannot tell these edits are so choppy.
Viewers don't watch that way because it's almost like it's entertainment and it's fantasy. So the viewers are not thinking that it is.
But it's not about the edits, Kira. It's about the simple fact that even for you to come and confirm the fact that you ran down all the other people that were cut out as if that made it better is still part of the issue. I don't think she fully understands the concept of what everyone is is trying to get relayed to her. Like, even if you did name down all the people in your family who are black, that doesn't make the conversation any better. Just because they just happen to put my cousins are black out there does not negate the fact that, like, you did say that everyone in your family was black. Whether you would have said my mother is black, my father is black, my brother is black, or whatever the case may be, it's still the same thing. So the snippet of my cousin is not too far off from my aunt, my uncle. You get what I'm saying? So when you say stuff like my cousins is black, that means like why are you even running down a list to get to your cousins? Who does that? Now, even if you would have stopped at my mother and father, that would have just been okay, cool. But when you start going into your uncles and aunts, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, then it starts to get a little mixy.
Edited, they're thinking that, I mean, they form very extreme opinions based on the edits that we see, which is why, like I said, I enjoy doing these shows. If you guys are just joining us, please come in and have a seat. We are talking with the beautiful Kira from Ready to Love and just talking about some very difficult situations in our community. But I love the fact that we can have these conversations and we can do them in a way where everyone gets a chance to listen and share their perspective. I think it makes us grow when we can have these type of conversations. So I appreciate, again, your openness to be just coming on and being honest about this stuff. I want to go back to the conversation with Amarie and ask you, how did you feel watching him talk to the guys in the men's lounge about you and suggesting that you could not or would not be able to support Black culture? And I think even in you guys' conversation, you were like, I love my culture, but I'm maybe not to the extent that I love my culture. But what you can tell me exactly what you said, but it basically was like you thought he may be a little deeper into activism than you would feel comfortable being. Let us know what you meant with that.
So I'm big in my community too. I do a lot of events. I'm in my community. So when I think he wanted me to kind of do rallies with him. To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure, but it wasn't to the extent of what he felt enough Blackness from me. Mm-hmm. When he had the conversation in the lobby with the guys, I kind of was just like, if he's able to persuade those other men, I want a leader. I need someone who thinks on their own and not can be persuaded by the masses, like this one guy. So you need to get to know me for yourself before you form an opinion.
Y'all funny, not which community. All right. Okay, listen, y'all. Hear me out. You may not be the right woman for Morier, because if Morier decides to go out and do rallies and stuff like that, that's understandable. I do understand that there are different levels to blackness, and when it comes to like how far people are willing to, go and fight for the cause. And that also kind of makes me feel like, to a certain extent, that you're not really comfortable with who you are. And I'm not saying go out and rally, and I'm not saying go out and do the marches and stuff like that, because it's a lot of people who don't. Like, I'm one of those people who is not really into the marching and things like that, only because I've seen so many people get hurt in those instances or get arrested, and I got a family. You get what I'm saying? So that's where my train of thought comes from, and my mindset. But I also am willing to sit down and have those conversations with the right people to, get the point across that how I feel about certain things happening to, Black people in my community, as well as Black people around the world. Okay. And I'm not going to tone that down for anyone. Right. But I do feel like there is a issue with someone who feels as though, what does Maria do for a living? Child, I don't really know. Don't even get me lying. But I do feel as though something about the conversation, if I can remember it, I can't remember it all the way. She made it seem as if like she doesn't care enough. Like, I don't care enough about these topics or care enough about this what's going on to want to do that. There's one thing to actually, feel something when something happens to your people and want to be able to speak about it or go ahead and have your justice however you feel. But when something happens to your people, you're not moved by it in a way where you can't identify with it, it becomes an issue. It's one of those things where it's like rich people, they can't identify with the normal people who are talking about like, oh, we can't afford our rent, like, oh, we can't afford the rent is going up, we can't afford it. Oh my God, eggs is this much. Oh my God, milk is this much. Like, there are some people who can't relate. Like, they don't even know how much they pay for their rent. But there is a level of when something happens to your race that has been happening for years over, that has not subsided or come to a stop, where it's kind of like, if it doesn't affect me, then it doesn't bother me. And I feel like that's the kind of concept that she has. If it doesn't affect me, it doesn't bother me, which could be an issue for Morier. If Morier is the type of guy who wants to go out and be on the front line, that's an issue. I always say, I think somebody asked me once, Chloe, could you date like a white man or something like that? And I said, no. Absolutely not. Why? I feel like I'm too Black. I'm too Black. Like, it's a lot of things that don't sit right with me. And I couldn't imagine myself being with someone, not saying that's my personal opinion. I can't see myself being with a white man. For one, I'm always scared that white men fetish Black girls. And then every time people get into these arguments and stuff like that, you become the N-word and this, that. Like, that's just too much for me. And then to think about going through certain politics issues and things like that affected me, my family, and my future potential family, that he will never be able to understand. So when someone asks me something like that, I would be like, no, absolutely not. But I feel like Kira, on the other hand, it's like one of those people where it doesn't affect me, so therefore I don't have nothing to do with it, which is her right by any means. But don't be upset if now you feel like they're going to question your Blackness, because who says I like Black culture? You get what I'm saying? Like, she says certain things that just throws you like, I like Black culture. Who says that? I like Black culture. I like Black culture. I never once thought to myself, I like Black culture. Like, I see certain stuff and I'm like, yo, I swear to God, I love us because we funny. Like, we really don't take nothing serious half the time. Like, it just be a whole lot going on. But I never was like, oh, I like Black culture, as if that's not my culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, she identifies with being Black as if it's not, like she's being introduced to it. Like, and you know what? Now that I say it, she probably is being introduced to Black culture. And that's probably the off balance that she's having. She doesn't know. She probably doesn't know how to handle it. She probably really is being introduced to Black culture, which is why she said, I like Black culture. Oh, he said, you're just too Black for me. That's what I said. Like, I sometimes feel like, I just feel like I'm like, no, it ain't gonna work out. Like, I think I got too much going on. Like, and I'm not saying don't date. I'm not, now listen, y'all. I'm not saying y'all don't go and do what y'all feel is best for y'all. I'm just saying for me, as to why I feel like I can't. I go everywhere. I'm celebrated. I prefer Black love, but the pool is small. Too close out there. Well, do it. I'm not saying do what you gotta do, Lily. No. Don't. I'm saying for me, y'all. For me, that's how I feel. I'm not stopping y'all. Y'all go find y'all love wherever. I believe in love in general, and wherever you find your love, as long as it's real and it's pure and it's happiness, go for it. But those always been my back thoughts. As to why I feel like I just couldn't be with a white man. And plus, like, I never even seen a white peen. That kind of like makes me feel like, ugh. Okay, off subject. But back to Kira, I feel like Kira is being introduced to Black culture, and she doesn't know how to adapt appropriately. Maybe that's the issue with Kira. Maybe that's it. Maybe she needs to sit around some more Black people. I was born in New Orleans. I was born in New Orleans and have relatives that's like Kira, identify as Creole instead of Black. Oh, yeah, a lot of instead of just saying I'm Black, yeah. Yo, you have actually I already said I have, not you have super close to the culture but open to what works for me. That's right. Super close to the culture but open to what's, I mean, don't shut off your blessings. If God want to send you, your white king, then let him do that. But what I'm saying is for me, experiencing white supremacy and racism can't be the only thing we have in common. Oh no, it can't be. No, absolutely, it can't be the only thing. But I do feel like in the climate that we're in with the world and the way the world is going, like you need to be with someone who can at least relate to what you're experiencing, because we can't act like the certain events that are happening around the world does not affect us emotionally. Like sometimes that stuff takes a toll on you. Like y'all know I'm planning on moving to North Carolina, right? And I always think to myself, like, I'm from the North, okay? And I live in the hood, okay? So we're all Black over here. So we don't have a lot of racial problems. But I always think like, oh my God, if my husband is driving and he's profiled because he's a Black man, like what can happen in the South with the racist cops? Or my mother gives me examples of like how she'll be in a line at a store and, the white lady in front of her would like, turn around and like move her things away from her, stuff like that. Like I've never actually had to experience that interaction with people because of where I'm from. But just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean it doesn't happen, if that makes sense. So I've always think about like, those certain things. Oh yeah, it costs a little. I'm trying to make sure my baby get my new baby get his new room. Certain areas are sketchy, right? Stick to larger cities. See how y'all telling me like stick to larger cities. Don't go here. Don't do that, because that's the thing. Like we can't act like these things don't exist. And when you are with someone who doesn't think of those type of things, then it's like y'all not on the same page. Like I need someone to be on the same page with me when we thinking about where we're moving to, thinking about having children, thinking about, and that's just my own personal experience. You get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's exactly where we're going. Raleigh, and in the surrounding areas. I'm from Jersey. I live in Jersey. Okay, so let's go back to this interview. I'm getting hot.
So,
right.
It was just unfortunate.
Yeah, I would think that would have been kind of hurtful, because that's not necessarily about we don't match. It's like it's a statement that goes to the person's identity, which is a little bit more
character, and that is That is probably the biggest thing that has hurt my feelings about this whole entire situation, is that I feel like, I asked Quentin a preference question, like, hey, you look like, doesn't mean you are. I'm willing to get to know you.
Right.
Like, and he is like, oh no, you're not Black enough, and questioning my Blackness. To me, that is like acting like I don't know who I am and whose I am. So that's why I said what I said. Like, it's a character thing for me with him. I don't know if the character is there that I would want to be with. Best of luck to him in his love journey. And I have not, I'm not here to try to shame anybody. Him. I don't know if acting like I don't know who you, like, and he is like, oh no, you're like, character and
about we don't match. It's like it's a statement that goes to the person's identity, which is a little bit more
character. And that is probably the biggest thing that has hurt my feelings about this whole entire situation, is that I feel like, I asked Quentin a preference question, like, hey, you look like, doesn't mean you are. I'm willing to.
But is that really a preference question, y'all? To tell someone they look like, or is that just basically telling them that that's kind of what they are? To me, if someone tells me you look like, you're basically telling me that that's what you assume of me, right? That's the issue. You can't just walk up to someone and be like, oh, you look like you like seafood. Like, what that's supposed to mean? You look like you like watermelon. What's that supposed to mean? You look like you like Kool-Aid. What's that supposed to mean? And expect for him not to get offended when you come up to him and tell him you look like you like white women. And I can ask that because I got white friends. What? How is that a preference question? Preference question is, so do you only date Black women? That's how you ask that question. What would you say that most what's the race of women you normally go after? Or what kind of women are you normally attracted to? Not, you look like you like white women, and expect for him not to be offended. Because what you're saying is that there's no way a man like him could like Black women. And that says a lot about how you feel about men who look like Quentin, or men who play football, or men who have muscles, or men who are this, or whatever you perceive Quentin to be. You already put him in this box and say, you look like one of those people who you look like one of those guys who like white women, which is not fair to him, especially when he's talking about how he wants a love and marriage like his family, like his mother and father. That's the issue. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. It's about the way that you didn't ask the question and they won't come up here and say you asked it. Like, now, if he would say, I majority date white women, after you ask him the question, then you could be like, yeah, I kind of assume that, but I ain't want to say it. Then we'll be like, yeah, well, okay. But for you to just come out the back, not only did you go ahead in that meeting with all the women and say, Quentin like white women, then go and tell him that and tell him to his face, you look like someone who like white women, and then you sit there and try to figure out to yourself why he's offended. But you still offended at the fact that Morgan said that you not Black enough for him, because he wants somebody who won't be on the front line rallying and marching. But you upset with Quentin because Quentin got offended by the fact that you just assumed that he like white women. And that's not fair. That's not fair to him. That's not fair to him on a show where you are here for a black dating show. Now, if this was one of those Love Islands, Too Hot to Handle, one of those things where it's a multiple race of women, Okay, and then you could just be like, well, I assume that he don't want me because he looked like the guy that's gonna go after little white girls. Makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense to me. But we on our own network with a bunch of black people, and the first thing that you won't come up to me is that I assume that you like white women. How that sound? That's not fair. That's not fair to him. Because if the guys would have turned around and said to her, well, we think Kira only like white men, you would be all in your feelings. Like, how would you think that? Why would you think that? Right or wrong? Right. Not one time since all the men was thinking that you the closest thing to the whitest woman in the room. So that's what you said, right? Out of all that time, not one of the men said that they assume that you just like white men, even though you identify as the closest to white in the room. Now he can really walk a whole route and get out of here. Really speaking, y'all get on my nerve. Like she made ass. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like you can't be sitting there offended at Marie for saying that he wants someone who's gonna be Riley or whatever. And you sit and talk, you can't judge my blackness, or I'm the there's different levels of blackness, this, that, and other. If you really believe that, then you should not have never said that about Quentin. If that's what you really believe. It's the same thing how you sat there and say, I can't understand. There is no acting like a color, but then turn around and say, everybody was thinking I act white, so why not? Make it make sense. And that's the thing. So this is why when she did her apology and she said she reached out, people were reaching out to her because people were like, Kira, this sounds crazy, girl. Let me school you something real quick. Okay, that's what they were trying to do, school her real quick. And she took it and was like, all right, let me go ahead and make my little apology, because she understood where the people was coming from. And this is why I said when you add the editing part, it kind of takes away, because I saw some of your comments when you guys were saying like, I can understand what she mean by the editing. And it's like, no, because whether it was some parts edited in or some parts edited out, it does not negate the fact that this is what you said. So whether you said my cousins, my aunt, my brothers, my mother, my father are black, it's the simple fact that you had to state it, which makes it kind of weird. All right, but Tequila said nothing about Kira's white adjacent comment and called Janelle out for being light skinned. Some people are really delusional and self satisfied. But she got a point because too many people call Carlton Banks white. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a thing. I'm not saying that it's not a thing, but what I'm saying is, as an adult, there is a certain type of language that you don't need to bring into your adulthood only because it's something that you had to deal with as a child. And then she said, oh, blame editing. But now you're sitting here on Crystal's channel basically saying everything that we already thought. So is it really editing or not? Not Carson is a legend. But if we didn't learn anything from, if you think about Carlton, you think about Will, and you think about Jazzy, you think about Hillary, and you think about all of them, this was an idea of different levels of black. You saw Hillary Banks as a different level of black versus Ashley, right? You saw Will Smith, you saw Carlton, you saw Uncle Phil, you saw both the wives, they switched them in and out, okay? But what I'm saying is you saw those different levels of black, but the one thing that they were all consistent with was the fact that they was black. Now, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember one episode where Carlton was questioning if he was black or if he was the closest thing to white in the room.
To get to know you,
Right.
like, and he is like, oh no, you're not black enough, and questioning my blackness. To me, that is like acting like I don't know who I am. and whose I am. So that's why I said what I said. Like, it's a character thing for me with him. I don't know if the character is there that I would want to be with. Best of luck to him in his love journey. And I have nothing, I'm not here to try to shame anybody. Everyone has their own journey, but with him, my journey and our journeys are not supposed to go together.
Your journeys are not in alignment. Not in alignment. Okay, let's talk about the ladies, because like I said, we are not seeing connections, but there is some friction between the ladies, and even off camera.
All right, y'all. I want to hear what she said about the ladies, because I can't remember if it's something that we need to talk about. But I do want to remind y'all to like the video, support the channel, Okay, you can join the membership. Membership is $199. All super chats, cash apps, all that stuff is liked and welcome. Okay, and go ahead, and the merch store is open for y'all as always. Just wanted to run that back, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And if it's your first time catching live, welcome. I'm glad you decided to join us tonight. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this.
What we see happening on social media today. I reached out to you after I saw the statement that you made. And if you guys want to see that, you can go to Kira's Instagram page. She made she basically curated a statement, which as a publicist, I was like, okay, girl, you better write your own statement. But then afterwards, I believe that
my friends for that too. They help me with making sure it's fine-tuned,
as they should. And it's really unfortunate, because we are in a really hypersensitive culture. Everybody just needs to relax. I think that's my opinion. And then afterwards, I believe that Janelle made a statement as well. Kira, where is all the issues coming from with the ladies? Like, what is happening? Because it's just really difficult to understand why there's so much vitriol between the women. We saw Tequila and Janelle stand up and get into it. Tequila came on and took responsibility or accountability on her behalf, but was really open about what she felt was bullying, in amongst the cast. So we don't really see a lot of that with the edit. So can you offer some context? Because even your comment tonight that Janelle and Jessica were mean girls, I'm thinking to myself, there has to be something other than what we've seen in this scene that is making her feel that way. Because I don't feel like you're super sensitive to, and would definitely call them that if you didn't have more reason to do that. So where did that comment come from?
Correct. I will say I'm not that sensitive. Having two older brothers, you got to be a little bit rough around the edges, just a little bit, So to be honest with you, in the beginning, I think that some women look at other women as competition. Some women just look at other women as just like, hey, we all here for a journey. Best of luck to you, And I think that T actually told me that they were the ones who had, Janelle had issues with me. This is how I can tell. I'm just I'm here to meet people, meet the guys. I remember going to the brunch. T would be like, girl, do you not see them talking around you? And I was like, oh, not really. But I guess because I wasn't really paying them attention, I was there to do a job, because I needed to go do my actual job after it. So I was like, let's do what we got to do so we can get going. And I remember at the brunch, they'd be like, hey, girl, skip over me and be like, hey, girl, hey, girl. And I didn't notice it until she brought it to my attention. And then I started to see it more and more and more. So I just think that they kind of came in with wanting to be the it girls and wanting to, I don't necessarily think that their idea was to be a mean girl or be a bully. I think they just wanted to be remembered as they don't play no games, I guess.
Okay.
Not quite sure.
There was a scene where, didn't Janelle say that the purse wasn't real? What did you feel?
I didn't even know she said that. That was the first time I've heard that. If you see me walking out, they played her saying that as I'm walking out.
Yeah.
And I've never brought my Louis Vuitton being like, hey, this is real. And I didn't even have a Louis Vuitton in in that clip. So if we could run it back, you would see that is just a basic purse. I'm not here to pretend.
Right.
So Janelle just had issues with me. Honestly, just sometimes your light disturbs people's darkness. That's just what it is. Maybe there was a girl growing up that was very similar to me that did her wrong. I don't know. I didn't do anything like specific to her to make.
Right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Was there something happening, or was it friendly competition? Because she did refer to you. Thank you, Radiant. She did refer to you as little girl. It was a few shots. The purse was, I think a lot of people on social media did not like that. That was mean. But I'm wondering if maybe you guys had some type of conflict behind the scenes, because Janelle and Katarina have had to have had some issues behind the scenes, because the way they talk about each other on social media just suggests there has to be something more than just you all being on a dating show for them to be this angry with each other. Did anybody know each other? Were there any alliances before the show? Like where?
I don't know if there was alliances before the show, but when we got on there was definitely alliances. I just told you Janelle and Jessica were an alliance. And then of course there was a little bit more of a click when it came to like Aries would go back and forth. But it was really like Lee, when Kat came, she was with them, and then Aries. And then I feel like it was like T, me, and Unique. Okay. And so I'm telling you, I didn't do anything like specific for Janelle. I'm telling you, sometimes people's light really just disturbs people's darkness. You can do nothing for people to say that they don't like you. Like I remember reading some comments, people saying, Kira's so off-putting. I've done nothing to these people. I can't so sometimes you don't have to do anything for people to like you, because Janelle was acting like that before we even went to to the lounge. Like that was our group date.
It was a group date. It was like,
okay, so I am going to say this. I do feel like Janelle and Jessica be on one. Okay. I have a specific set of issues with Janelle that just, because I understand where Janelle's coming from, but I feel like she doesn't know how to like tone it down, because I'm thinking about the whole incident that happened between Tequila and Janelle in the ladies lounge, right? So remember how, she was like, oh, you're standing up. Oh, you're standing up, as if she don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? But then on live, she's pulling up to Kat's house. So when we were doing our commentary on Tequila, saying like, Tequila, no, you should have never got up. If y'all gonna have some words back and forth, then y'all go ahead and have some words back and forth and just let that be that, because that's what the girls do. The girls like to, argue. The girls like to read. The girls like to say what they got to say. Cool. But when you start to get to this point where it's like now you standing up, it's like, okay, so like that's when we were sitting there telling Tequila, like, you doing too much. But then to turn around and see Janelle go ahead and jump on live and pull up at this girl's house, which is why I just realized, y'all, that I had to take down my video, not take it down, but I think I put it on private or members only. I can't remember. But I moved it from public because I didn't realize that was Tequila's actual home. I thought that was like, her job or whatever. And I'm like, whatever. And I was like, oh, sweat, like this actually, let me take this down, So I was like, I don't want to be the girl out there, even though she said it in all those messages. This little piece of tissue is bothering me. Where's that? I hate the fact that the camera don't face my way. Okay, but anyway, it's kind of like we can't. I see Janelle for who she is, but this is the part that kind of bothered me. So Janelle said in her statement, she said, let's stop calling women mean girls who see through your BS. See how you move and want nothing to do with you. It's childish. Hey, D. You can't sit here and tell people not to call you a mean girl. And that's the nice version. And then you are promoting mean girl merch on your page. Make it make sense. At least Sassy Red was smart enough to keep denying the fact that he had a thought job when he made his hashtag thought job t-shirts. Okay. But you can't go on there and be like, let's stop calling people mean. and then be like, Mean Girl merch on sale. Like, who, how, where, when, how does this work? Girl, if you gonna be that girl, then just go ahead and stand in that. But don't be telling people not to reference you as something that you have made your persona all of a sudden. And we're not going to negate the fact that the Mean Girl is the nice version for saying bitch. So you better be lucky that everyone's out here saying, oh, she's a mean girl, she's a mean girl, she's a mean girl. Because that's literally like high school, okay? And we already know that Janelle has some type of insecurity issues based on a live that she did on when she did her IG live that we were watching that night. You could tell that she already have insecurities. I'm never denying the fact that Janelle definitely has some things that she needs to work through. But we always have to understand, like I keep trying to tell y'all, just because one person is right, one person is wrong, doesn't make the other person right. Both of them were right in that situation. Janelle was very much so right about Kira and her explanation about, being before I let this go. When Jessica said that Kira's made that statement about she like black but not too black or not that black, that kind of triggered me. And I want to know where it came from and what reference did that come from? Because now I understand where the animosity comes from when you hear things like that. Okay. I totally understand why they would go, hey Jessica, hey Aries, hey such and such, and then overskip you. Okay. Is it right? Absolutely not, because we are grown adults, okay? And me saying hi to you is not going to ruin my whole entire life, okay? When people don't like people, you move accordingly, you act like adults, and you're cordial with each other because you have to be around each other, you have to work with each other. Ain't nobody said y'all had to go out for drinks, ain't nobody said y'all had to do all of that. But when you start isolating people and purposely doing things on purpose, that is a form of being a bullying, and that is a form of being a mean girl. So either you own it and stand in it and let the people dislike you for it. But don't keep trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. Well, you're clearly that girl. You said it in your live alone. God's not through with me yet. I still put my hands on people. Any person that sits there and say, you God not through with me yet, I put my hands on people, you just got to accept the fact that that's just who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to be in life. But don't try to act like that's not who you are. You get what I'm saying? Don't act like you're not that girl when you're clearly that girl. For instance, right? Y'all know I don't talk about people on my platform. I don't talk about people like, look. I don't talk about, I might, mess with the wigs or the outfits, but I don't talk about people's bodies. I don't talk about people's faces, teeth, all that things. I try my best not to do that because we all have our own insecurities that we deal with on a daily basis, and it's not anyone's place or right to come and tell you something about yourself by the way that God made you, and if it's nothing that you can do to fix it, right? So if someone comes on my page and says something about the way I look personally, you know what I do? I block them because I give people the courtesy of not doing that. You don't get the right to come and talk about me. You are what you put out. You are what you put out. So you can't sit here and expect for people not to be like, oh yeah, she was this way, she was that way, it's given this, it's given that. And then you're doing exactly all the things that they say, and then people turn around and say it's editing, and it's editing, it's editing. It's not editing. It's who you are. And we've never been proven wrong yet. Y'all, we have not been proven wrong yet. Who have we met in an interview who told us about themselves that did not show up the way they showed up on the screen? Content creators that get too mean, I unfollow. And that's the thing, like people do whatever they want to do with their child. That's totally on them. But I just choose not to do that personally. Because we all have good days and we all have bad days. And who am I to talk about somebody? And I'm nowhere near perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, my skin's not completely clear. Like right now, I'm pregnant. I'm gaining weight. My neck's getting darker. There's things about me that I can't fix. So who am I to talk about somebody else? And there's things about them that they can't fix. You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's just the level of respect that I have, and I've not witnessed personally with my own eyes, but like reading articles or different things like that on TV where people are taking their lives over image, or in a world where we're so image, struck, where it's like you gotta have a fat butt, you gotta have a skinny waist, and girls are dying on plastic surgery tables because people are talking about their bodies. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want to be the person to contribute to those thoughts about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we may talk about somebody's wig, yeah, we may talk about somebody's choice of outfit, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. But I do feel like you are what you put out, what you attract. So the same thing with Kira. Kira went out there and did what she did to Quentin, and it came right back full circle for Moria. You put out what you attract. Now you offended with him, but you can't understand why Quentin's offended by you. Child, make it make sense. Okay, so I just need them. I don't know what's up with this cast, but this Dallas is a weird cast, y'all. Because honestly, a lot of the cast is not that likable. Like, I'm not gonna say not. I got is that child? I was wiping my face with the tissue, and now it's everywhere. It's everywhere. BB can't blame editing, child. It's true. Why did Katina tell Janelle to pull up? That was silly too. I'm not saying that. Look, the cat told. Well, see, we don't know cat yet. See, Cat's doing, but see, we can't sit here and act like Cat not with the BS, because that's why I say they all to a certain levels with the BS. Because if Cat told her to pull up and she pulled up and then Tequila pulled up, baby is giving a whole bunch of ratchet going on over here. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me I'm not ratchet and I'm giving you nothing but ratchet. Like, don't tell me I'm not. Don't tell me none of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you tell the people that you're willing to fight, you're going to pull up, you're going to do all of that, guys not through with you, and then they turn around and they tell you that you this person and you sit and tell them, no, I'm not. That don't make sense. This cast don't like each other, y'all. I feel like the reunion is going to be on fire. And I'm low-key excited for it. Not gonna hold you. I already told you I'm down for all the drama. If they gonna give it to me, I'm gonna take it. Period. If y'all gonna give it to me, I'm gonna say y'all want to fight, y'all want to scream, y'all want to holler, y'all want to pull up, y'all want to talk about people, baby daddies. Y'all go ahead and do it. Can we discuss why Aries got a pass with the 2 failed marriages, but let the guys walk for hit? Oh, so I didn't even know that Aries had 2 failed marriages. It's so much drama off screen this season. Tammy, and I'm here for all of it. Child, as long as they record it so I can talk about it, I'm fine with it. As long as they record it, I'm fine. If y'all want to act a fool, go ahead, act a fool, baby. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to take out my phone and press the screen record and let y'all do what y'all got to do. And if I got time, I might jump on live and watch the shit with y'all, okay? That's all I'm saying. Just make sure we got access, because I don't want to hear about it. I want to see about it, okay? But let's go back to Aries. So I didn't know that Aries had two failed marriages. When did this happen? That's I was like, so no one was going to tell us this. I barely knew Phil had a failed marriage, child, because we barely know anything about Phil. And that's the thing. Like, Aries did get to stay with her 2 failed marriages, but they said Brandon home, justice for Brandon, okay, because he had an ex-wife. At least it was the same wife. I'm just saying. At least it was the same wife. And I wonder why she been divorced twice. Y'all know Aries got a YouTube channel. So I wonder if she ever talked about it. I'm going to have to go check it out. Well, maybe, but she didn't tell everyone on day one. That's because she didn't leave with it. Brandon should have kept his mouth closed. Brandon had 4 little kids though. That is a lot of kids because ain't nobody got time for that. Anybody have time for that? But I still think Brandon should have stayed a little bit longer because Brandon showed what you call commitment. And like, who don't want a committed man? I mean, he had 4 kids, but they was predominantly probably with the mama anyway, because y'all know how this works. Look at me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. For a second, I wanted Brandon to say, I did too. I felt, y'all, that's the only one that I felt like should have stayed a little bit longer was Brandon. They should have sent Habibi home first. And then once we found out what we found out about Habibi and how he was supposed to went home after Janelle told production right away what happened, they still let him stay for another elimination. That pissed me off because he should have went home the first time. Like I said, he should have. I liked him over Marvin. Right. I mean, y'all left the man who got the sex dungeon that nobody, absolutely nobody wanted anything to do with. But y'all said Brandon home. Get out of here. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all had no right eating Marvin up like that in them damn comments, okay? Y'all was like, oh, he probably got that girl bent over right now. Oh, he got that girl chained up in the basement. Oh, he probably, y'all was going in on him. He was not here for no love. He was here to sell his book. When I tell y'all was reading Marvin for fifth, I'm like, dang, I didn't know it was like that. Y'all was going in on poor Marvin. But his girlfriend is into what he's into, y'all. Because on the Instagram page, I would show y'all, but I don't know how much YouTube gonna let me play. But it looked like she's down with the ass worship. Okay, definitely look like she's down for that because he got her like chain handcuffed to like the thing like this, facing backwards, the handcuffs and the foot cuffs, and he got the whips and he's like this whipping on her booty. Child, y'all, it's a lie. I told y'all to go check out the Instagram on y'all own because I'm not sure because Instagram will not monetize my video, and I ain't got time for that. Okay, I need to get paid. Y'all know this is my full-time job now. Okay, you can't. I can't wait to hear what Chris X had. Which Chris? New Chris or old Chris? Yes, Marvin has a girlfriend. Now, this is the thing. We been knew that Marvin had a girlfriend, but I never said anything because I didn't want to ruin it. I would like to watch the show. Certain stuff I don't want to say until like when the time comes. So that's why I never mentioned the fact that he had a girlfriend. But he definitely has a girlfriend. She's into the ass worship. She's into like the dominatrix. She's be at the erotic shows. She be doing all that stuff with him. And yeah, so that's what it's giving. OG Chris. What about OG Chris? What I forgot what you said. What's his page? His page is. Let me put it in the chat so y'all can see it. I don't want to get it wrong. Let me just make sure I go to it. So you say which page? He has 2 pages. So if you go to his regular Instagram page, that's why I told y'all he found somebody who's down with the get down. Y'all thought I was playing when I said that? I was dead serious. Hold on, let me see it. He should be in my search history. All right. Let me put it in exactly how it is because I don't want y'all to be going to no wrong thing. Okay, so his Instagram is in the chat, right? It's in the chat. So what you do is there's a link to the top part where it's the in his bio. Click on that, and that'll take you to his like page where he's like does his erotic stuff, and it's kind of free. I probably could show y'all this. Hold on, let me pull it up. Y'all better support the channel, okay? Because I'm intrigued now. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up because I think I can show y'all this. But it's gonna be a quick clip. Okay, let me see. All right, let me see. Ain't no way. You couldn't be my man doing stuff like that. But like, look at this. Real quick, y'all, real quick. Come on, you wanna get my page taken? All right, so I just had to show y'all real quick. So y'all, yeah. So he got him a girl. Okay, he got him a girl who's down with the girl with down with what he's down with. She be at the erotica show. She be doing all that with him. They be having a good time. She probably like the nipple play and all the other stuff. So yeah. So I mean, good for him. Good for him. Okay, let me. I saw one video last night. He posted stuff in different groups for whatever reason. So yeah, so he has one like more of a private page and then a business page. I'm not going to the business page because that's enough for me, y'all. I mean, I'm intrigued, but not enough. Okay. He was ready to love for exposure. So let me ask y'all: do y'all think that he was on there? Marvin has a show this weekend. Anyone want to go, Monique? Report back, and let us know what it's like. All right, so y'all don't think that Marvin could have really been here for love? Y'all don't think he could have really been looking for someone, to spend his life with? He just has to find the right person who's down with what he's down with. Because like, I don't think that you could go from liking seeing your partner having sex with someone to being in a strictly monogamous relationship. You know what I mean? Like a strictly monogamous. Now, if you and your partner are into like threesomes and like, doing stuff like that, then that's different. But none of those girls wanted that. Yeah, so Marvin got him a girlfriend who he could do all the things with. Oh, thank you, actually, Aubrey, for the $1.99 super chat. This is part of my lunch, so I love you. Oh, I love you too. He posted on her on his IG. Yes, if you look at the video that I made about Marvin, you will see that it's in there. Oh, y'all. So y'all want to see the charges for Tony? Child, we going all over the place. We supposed to be talking about this season. But y'all want to see the charges for Tony? Okay, so they don't really say what the charges is. They just say that he had a civil warrant. Now, y'all, I don't know what a civil warrant is or like what it can be consisted of, but he said it was for child support. And then remind you, he was arrested of 6/6 as well of this year. So he's been arrested twice this year, along with the first one was like a couple of years ago, but he's been arrested twice this year. So I was like, that's interesting. And so, yeah, I wonder what that's about. It just said a civil warrant, and it said that he was bonded out for like $500 and some dollars. Off topic, but unpopular opinion: Quentin can't dress. He relies on his looks. You know what? I never pay attention to how they dress, so I couldn't even remember enough to tell you. But I will know for sure about a reunion. Is Tony still with old girl? No. Tony, with Morgan? No, because Morgan on Instagram with her new man. Now she put in her story, she got her new man who'll be giving her flowers and open the door for her because she liked the consistency. Okay. Yeah, I never noticed if he can't dress. I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. So y'all, I was thinking to myself that I'm trying to figure out who's the next guy that's supposed to go home. Now, for me, I think it needs to be Moria. Who y'all think needs to be the next guy? And I can't even remember half the guys. So we just got rid of two. Shoot. Moria, Phil, Herbert, Quentin, old Chris. It's just 5, right? 5. So I'm thinking Moria. Girl, get out of here. Go take those rollers out. Those are my good rollers that I want to use for my hair. Use the other rollers. Moria or Chris 1. Okay. Moria. I'm thinking Moria. I'm not too sold on Chris 1 being Oh, y'all, let's go to Chris IG. Y'all, what's Chris IG? I told y'all, so I told y'all I was going to go to Herbert's IG and see what's going on with him. It's not really much going on over there. Okay. Now, I wanted to go to Chris IG because I want to see what y'all see. Okay. And let me just go ahead and see if I could find his name. Do anybody remember what Chris IG is? It's not here. Hold on. I'm looking. Little Chris, or the one that cried twice. That's Chris. Y'all do not want a man who cry. Y'all do not want a man who cry. I'm not finding a man who cry either, so I can't say much about it. Morier. I just think Morier need to go first, though. Monique, send it in the group chat for me so I can find it, so I can get to it easier. That's the name? Okay. Let me see, y'all. Let me see if I can pull it up. What was it? Naija. Okay. Okay, let me show y'all real quick. Okay. So who his connection? And he connected with Jessica? He connected to Jessica. All right. All right, so let's look at his page real quick because like I just want to see what's going on because I never really got the chance to go through all of his things. Okay. Um. Okay. That's a cast. What is his birthday party? Y'all, we can't never stay on topic. Like we need to start staying on topic with stuff. I honestly thought Chris would have went home by now because he was in a Chris got kids? Oh, that might not be his daughter. That might be his niece or somebody. Or maybe he do got a daughter. Oh, maybe he do got a daughter. That's cute. Chris got a daughter? All right, so I don't see much here. It looked like he was trying to thirst trap. That's what it looked like. I don't know. All right, I just wanted to look at his page thoroughly. He told us he had a girl. Oh, he did? Oh, child, I didn't know that. Did you see the math teacher post with him and the other fellas? No, which one? You said give me some cornbread. My husband is doing all types. I don't know what he's doing. I know he's making chicken and I guess cornbread now. So this is why I can't be skinny. Oh, I thought this was Pride Parade. Okay, I'm gonna be transparent, be honest. That's why I wanted to go through it. I wanted to see if I saw any Pride stuff because he's the one that was giving me Pride vibes. Okay, and so I was like, if anyone probably doing the Pride vibes, like Janelle was saying, it's giving Chris. So I was like, let me go check it out. Which one is the teacher in the So when I'm scrolling, y'all, I can't see StreamYard. So I'm literally just scrolling blind. So I don't know when to stop. Okay, Habibi the second. Why you got them tight? Never mind. With some biker pants. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. This shirt is giving. Let me stop. Let me get off here. Let me get off. Let me get off here. Oh, he a Nigerian hairdresser. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go to the women. So who needs to go with the women? Who y'all think? I think it's time for Kira and then Sierra. That's who I'm going with. Kira and then Sierra. Because they both gotta go, but it's just a matter of who want to go first. So I think Kira needs to go first, only because she don't really have no connections. No one's really vibing with her like that. So I think she has to go. And then Sierra. And I am kind of mad that new Chris went home, but I also feel like maybe he wasn't gonna find nobody there anyway. At least he ain't culture appropriate. Right, that part. By Kira. Yeah. So Kira, I think who will go home? A girl. Ooh. So they do a double elimination for the women. Just go ahead and sing Kira and Sierra. LO, keep Kira for a storyline. No, not keep her for a story. We gotta get down to love at some point. Yeah, Lee and Quentin haven't gone on a date yet. I wonder what's that about. And they supposed to have this connection that we have not yet to see. The only person connection we got to see was, I'm not gonna lie. So if I had to pick at least two couples, it would be right now, it would be Quentin and Janelle, and then Phil and Aries. I really like Phil and Aries. Aries. And I wonder, I need to find out what happened to her and her. Oh boy, y'all know I don't like asking people for interviews and stuff like that, but I'm curious because I want to know what happened in those last marriages, girl. People say Lee is boring. I'm not going to say that Lee is boring, but I do feel like the man she needs isn't here. And I think I think Lee's one of the girls because she's so pretty that it always looks like she doesn't have to do but so much. Like it kind of gives off like you should just be happy to be in my presence regardless. You know what I mean? Like she gives me that vibe when it comes to like some females. Like she's, like you should just be lucky to be here. Okay. Like you need to go ahead and put in all this work and I'm just going to reap the benefits of it all. And I don't think she likes any of these men either. And I like the fact that she stays out the way. And I always say to myself, like, if I was to go on one of these shows, I definitely would not be out the way. I'll interview with you. Oh, hey, Aries girl. Okay, good. Then we can interview. Because girl, I need to know what happened. Janelle, Mean Girls, self needs to go. Janelle's not going anywhere. She has connections. Y'all gotta remember that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you don't like. As long as they have connections, they stay, right? So this is like, it goes back to the same conversation we had when we was talking about Tequila, when Janelle said no one likes you, and she was like, how she know that? It was obvious. She was on the bottom twice, or at least once that time. That's how you know when people like you or who don't. You've been divorced 10 years. You've been divorced for 10 years? Was it? Okay, no, we're going to save for the interview. We're going to save for the interview, okay? We're going to get into some things, okay? So I'm going to DM you. Remember how far PO and Karma got? Karma? Who is what? Wait, what? Janelle has alliances, not connections. But That's the only thing about Ready to Love that really baffles me, is that it literally does come down to alliances. And if you find real love, the best thing to do is either leave with the person you love. Oh, Carmen. Y'all call her Karma. Y'all get on my nerves all the time. Okay, so Carmen was with Donovan. And then remember they was like playing it out for a little while, so like they instantly just stopped following each other and everything disappeared. Blake stayed around forever, him and Susu. Right, Blake stayed around forever and he was on the bottom of every episode. So y'all, that would be a little messy. I saw a video of Clifton on one of these like blogs. I don't know. He was coming back from somewhere, and then Demetrius was like, "Hey, what's up to him?" And so they asked him, "What's he did?" Then you saw Carmen coming from the side to give him a hug. I say, "Oh, she's still out there being the third wheel with him and Joy, child." Karma. Shouldn't that y'all got me saying that? I know I'll be messing up people's names. Carmen went Clifton. Joy better watch her man. Carmen from the Potomac, yeah. I don't think Joy. You don't like Joy? Carmen and Joy fell out. I heard they fell out on Detroit season, right? Now that's what we can't do. You can't fall out with my man. Me and you can't fall out and you still be friends with my man. That's not how this works. And that's her husband now, because y'all know Joy and Clifton got married. Shout out to them. I just realized that they're the only couple that got married, right? I don't know what something happened on Love and Marriage Detroit. Y'all know I can't get down with the Love and Marriages like that because I just can't. Not Carmax. Who is Carmax? Y'all better stop. Not Carmel. Y'all done made up all these names. She was Clifton's friend, not Joy. Get out of here. Let me tell you, if I met all of us and we all met at the same time, it don't matter who friend you thought you was. Especially when you was dating my man at one point. Y'all got me effed up. That's what I'm saying. Like, no. Because she was low-key liking that man. We not even about to do that with them. Y'all don't get me started with that on Joy and Clifton. We're gonna lead them where they at. I know Eris is in the chat. So yeah, me and Eris, we gonna talk, y'all. We're gonna let her come up there because we want to know what was happening in the relationships in the past, and we want to know if she found her new man off this show. Which I want to say I like her and Phil together. I do. But you know it's Ready to Love, so we only gonna put a little pinch on it right there. We're gonna leave it right there for now. Because that's all we can see. Okay. But okay, so if we have to agree, let's go ahead and just say that we want Morier and Kira to go home this week, right? Okay, that's who we want to go. Well, only one could go home this week. Oh my God. They have to do a double elimination because it's going to be uneven. Oh, child, not Mark. Anybody from Love and Marriage Huntsville don't need to be affiliated with them. Red Pill Talks, yeah. Okay, so if they say, I hope they don't send two women home. But I think they should, because if they don't send two women home, then it becomes very uneven, and then the women are going to start fighting. And y'all know I want to see the men fight for the women, not the other way around. So we'll have to see. But I think that's it, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We'll definitely talk to you guys later. Remember, we'll be here tomorrow to talk about the Darren Jackson interview that he's doing on Dear Future Wifey. So y'all go ahead and get it in. Go watch it tomorrow. If y'all don't watch it, don't worry. We'll be talking about it and going through it over here on this channel. Part 1 and part 2. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. Then we'll be back and doing our Ready to Love stuff. And I'm so excited because some of my shows are starting to come back. So we'll be real busy over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like the video. The more you like, the more people get in the room. And I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'm about to go eat some of this cornbread. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.